Okay, do you guys know what a fairy tale is? It's a story that's make-believe, right? It has magic in it. Well, the story I'm going to tell you is called a folk tale, and that means that it comes from a place and it's handed down through generations, and that means that moms tell it to their kids and dads tell it to their kids, and those kids tell it to their kids, and so it's a very old story. So this story comes from a country that's called Russia. Do you know where that is? It's very far away and it's a really big country. So this story is about a little girl and about a witch.
About what?
Yeah, about a witch. Okay, so the little girl lived with her dad and her stepmom, and her dad had to travel for work a lot. So he would leave, and then the little girl had to stay with her stepmother. But her stepmother didn't like her very much because she was jealous. So the little girl just would have to stay with her stepmother, and she wasn't very nice to her.
Is this Cinderella?
It's kind of like Cinderella. It's very similar. And so one day the stepmother decided that she wanted to get rid of the little girl. So she went to the little girl and said, I need you to go and get a needle and thread from Auntie in the forest.
Oh, that's like cool.
But the little girl was scared because she knew that when her stepmother said Auntie in the forest, she was talking about the witch. And the witch was called Baba Yaga. That's her name. It's kind of a funny name, huh? It's a funny name, but she's a scary witch. She was tall and skinny.
Was she black? Was she green?
No, she wasn't green. She had a really long nose, and her teeth were made of iron. She had metal teeth. Isn't that crazy? And you know how some witches fly around on a broomstick, right? Well, this witch, instead of flying on a broomstick, she flew in a special cup called a mortar. She would sit in her cup and fly around like this. So the little girl was really scared because she didn't want to go to the witch's house. She didn't want to make her stepmother mad, so she decided she would go into the woods and find Baba Yaga's house. So she walked and walked and walked, and when she finally got there, she saw Baba Yaga's house, and the gate outside of her house was made of bones.
Ew.
Yuck, huh? And the house stood on 2 chicken feet. Isn't that funny? It didn't just sit on the ground, it stood on chicken feet. So she went inside and she met the witch, and the witch said, what do you want? And the little girl said, well, my stepmother sent me for a needle and a thread. And the witch said, okay, I can give you a needle and thread, but we're going to have dinner first. And the witch was being sneaky because the thing she loved to do most was eat little kids. And she was thinking how nice it would be to have that little girl in some soup. So she said to the little girl, I'll give you your needle and thread, but you got to make me some dinner first. So you need to go boil some water, and I'm going to go into the forest and get us some stuff for our soup. So then the witch left, and the little girl was worried because she knew that the witch liked to eat little kids. She sat there and she wasn't sure what to do. And then she saw the witch's cat in the corner of the house. And she saw that the cat was hungry, so she gave the cat some ham to eat.
What is the cat made out of?
It's just a regular cat. So she gave the cat some ham to eat. And then the cat spoke. And it said, thank you, little girl, for that ham. That was very yummy. And because you gave me some food, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you escape from the witch. So she said, if you go outside and try to escape, the gate outside is going to creak, and the witch will hear you and she'll come back. So what you need to do is you got to put some oil on the gate so that it won't creak. And then when you go outside of the gate, there's a birch tree outside, and if you pass it, it's going to croak and sway in the wind. So instead, you need to take the ribbon from your hair and tie it around the tree, and that will make the tree happy and it won't croak. So the little girl said, okay, and then the cat said, the most important thing you need to do is you need to take the towel and the comb from the mantelpiece. And then if the witch chases you, you throw the towel and the comb behind you. The little girl said, okay, I'll do that. So she went outside and she went to the gate, and she put some oil on the hinges. She opened up the gate, and it didn't make any sound at all. She was like, whew. So then she went past the tree, and she took the ribbon from her hair and she tied it up in a pretty little bow. And the tree just stayed still and didn't croak at all. So then she just kept going. But by this time, the witch had come back to the house. She saw that the little girl was gone and was like, oh no, my dinner! So she went to the cat and said, Cat, why'd you let the little girl go? How come you didn't hiss and scratch? And the cat said, well, she gave me some ham to eat, and you only ever give me old bones. So the witch went outside and she saw the gate and said, Gate, how come you didn't creak and tell me when the little girl left? And she said, well, the little girl gave me some oil on my hinges, and you always just let me rust. And then she went to the tree and said, Birch tree, how come you didn't croak and sway in the wind? And the tree said, the little girl gave me a nice after the little girl. So the little girl was running and running, trying to get home. So all of a sudden she heard the witch coming up behind her. She was very scared. She remembered what the cat told her she needed to get the towel. So she took the towel out, she threw it over her shoulder as she ran, and behind her, the towel turned into a great big river. Great big river, and the witch had to fly across it. So she kept running, and then the witch started catching up again. So she took the comb from the mantle, she threw it over her shoulder, and then the comb turned into a huge forest. And the trees were so thick that you couldn't see through them. So when the witch got to the trees, they were too tall to fly over, and they were too thick to fly through, so she had to get out of her mortar. She had to start chopping those trees down with her middle teeth like this. Isn't that crazy? But she was getting so tired because it's not very much fun to eat a tree. So she was chopping the trees down with her teeth and chopping them down, and she just got so tired, and she said, you know what? This isn't even worth it. I'm just gonna give up. So she went home and didn't have any dinner. So finally, the little girl ran and made it back to her house. She saw that her dad had got home from traveling, and he was very upset that the stepmother had sent the little girl to the witch. So the dad kicked the stepmother out, and the little girl and the dad got to live together all happy.